Hello. Welcome back to Genshin when it decides it wants to load. There we go. So, we're back on the side quests. Very soon, I will be doing the last of the 3 Sumeru quests, or so I'm assuming it was the last. I thought I had already done all the Sumeru quests, but there's one more. Then I can head on to the Fontaine quests, which I'm hyped about. I've been exploring it a little bit with Peach, who's a fellow streamer slash YouTuber. Although they're a bit more musing than I am. And it's cool. It's nice. I like it. It's everything I was hoping for and more.
Well, I'm off to meet with him. Please wait here for me.
So last time we were doing this quest, they were setting up a debate with her father so that they can try and keep the theater troupe around because he's trying to force them to close down. And they didn't quite understand what a debate was, but they're trying their best.
Okay, looking forward to your good news. That should be everything. The only thing left to do now is to wait until the debate. I'm not sure why, but I'm getting nervous again.
Because it's the survival of your company and everyone in it.
Talk like that during the debate, and you'll get an easy win!
Thanks for that, Paimon. But I still feel like it'll be an uphill battle. I need to be calmer, cooler, and more collected. Yeah. I'm acting as everyone's representative, so I'll need to act brave, even if I won't feel like it. Huh? What's left?
Huh? What a strange question. Isn't a theater just a theater? Why would it need to be anything else?
Wait. You're not asking what the theater does, but what it is.
Yes.
Let me think. How can I put this?
Because it's going to be an important way of showing this isn't just dancing and entertaining. This is something with value.
Inaya really wants to win. Everyone is free to appreciate art. No form of art is inherently superior.
I disagree. There are plenty of art that is subjectively superior.
Everyone is free to appreciate. Mr. Zubair has been meticulously managing the theater.
Art must first be appreciated by others.
The most important
Why is
thing
this one
about
said
an
by him and not
experience
her?
is
That's
how
just
you
weird.
choose to interpret it.
Not quite right.
None of these sound like a good answer.
Not quite right. Not quite right.
So I'm just gonna submit conclusion on all of them because I don't understand what you're looking
Got
for.
it. When we were trying to find a way to save the theater, we heard many stories not of the theater, but of the people whose lives have been touched by it. Zubair Theater is our reason for coming together. It connects us all in unique ways. In other words, it's like a bond.
That's not a good answer.
A bond?
The theater provides money for Miss Raykar and her children, inspiration for Mr. Kasani, and enjoyment for the people of the Great Bazaar. It also gives Inaya shelter from her family. It has brought us together after taking care of every single one of us. And its story won't end here.
That means nothing
In the future,
to the
many more people will come
intellectuals
to the
of the
theater
academia.
and receive its blessing, and we'll all be there for them. Our warm, welcoming community will show them the same kindness we were shown in the past. Aside from the delivery of performances, isn't this another reason for Zubair Theater's continued existence?
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. We definitely felt that
From like a
hope during the
heartwarming
preparations for the
perspective,
event.
maybe. but like,
But Paimon doesn't
if
see how this will help in the debate.
exactly, it doesn't help from why should we keep the theater around? Just because people crowd around it and find it important doesn't mean it actually is something that matters or should stay. Because people do that about the strangest things, because people will find something and make it important to them just for the simple fact of they need something to cling on to. Just because they chose your theater doesn't mean your theater is inherently a good thing or that it's good for them to do that.
Oh, gotcha! No matter how strong an opponent is, they'll have to go on the defensive if pressed on a weak point.
No. No. And especially not if the debate in this game works how apparently they think it works. Because he'll just blow it off as you're acting like a child. This has nothing to do with, anything. I don't get it. What they're trying to go for there.
I feel like that's another prong in our attack. Thank you so much.
Paimon also feels a lot more relieved. Let's show him what we got!
Sorry for the wait. I'm back. Things went a lot more smoothly than I expected. It didn't take long for him to accept the debate. And it's set for 2 days from now. Why are you all smiling so much?
We realized that your dad might not be as scary as we had thought.
We just finished our prep. Rest easy. It will all turn out well. We have to win. No, we will win, Inaya.
Fingers crossed.
Alright. 2 days later, between 15 and 18. Day after tomorrow, between 15 and 18. I may have to, swoosh it one more time. I don't know. But we'll see.
In the blink of an eye, it's already
There we
debate
go.
time! We
Glad
did
it
a lot
works
of
fine.
preparations with Nilu. Hopefully they were helpful.
I know she's gonna win the
Hello,
debate,
and
but
welcome,
honestly,
everyone. I am Safwan,
she's
a scholar
not
from the
prepared.
academia, and I will serve as this debate's adjudicator. I swear to judge both parties with the utmost wisdom and impartiality. I will neither interfere with the proceedings nor demonstrate bias.
Okay. But he can't. Right? So inherently, if this was a real legal system, there would be an issue. Because essentially, it's if a senator and a civilian went to court and the judge was just like a friend of the senator who was another senator. You know what I mean? It's not a good analogy, but he's a part of the academia, probably picked out by the other guy. They are not. So inherently, especially when you know their belief is tied strongly in the fact that brain matters, emotion don't, that he's going to side with the academia because he can't be impartial. And he's already leaning towards the academia because his beliefs, it's like a better analogy. It's like having a Catholic and a Buddhist having an argument about religion, and then having another Catholic be the intermediary and say, yeah, I can be unbiased. It just wouldn't work. Because obviously not.
I ask for both parties to
But
stand.
somehow it's gonna
May the
come
Dendro
to,
Archon
oh, she still
also
won.
serve as a witness to this duel of wits.
Why not?
Since you so desperately demand an explanation, I will expound on the Academia's stance. You may have misunderstood us from the outset and believe that the Academia is prejudiced against you. However, the truth is that the Academia wishes for every resident of Sumeru to be afforded opportunities to grow and cultivate their wisdom. Therefore, the works they consume should also possess enlightening qualities and intellectual value. We have failed
Yes and
to
no.
identify these qualities in the shows performed at Zubair Theater. In other words, instead of struggling against the Academia in pointless confrontations, if you had spent your time reflecting on improving the quality of your shows and enlightening your audience, Zubair Theater would not be today facing such a tragic fate.
Aggressive from the get-go. He's really putting on the pressure.
Shut up, Paimon.
Can Nilu stand?
Calm down, Nilu. First, carefully analyze what he said. He said that we were shut down not because the Academia looks down on the arts, but rather because our shows aren't up to their standards. However, the theater carries everyone's feelings.
No.
Hinaya really wants to win.
No. Crowd's opinion,
Everyone is free
maybe.
to appreciate art.
No.
Mr. Zubair has been meticulously Don't think that...
I do.
Art must first be appreciated by others to confer value.
No. That is the last one I would ever pick, so.
The most important thing
Say
about
no.
an experience is how you choose to interpret it.
Again, no.
In your eyes, our shows can't meet the Academia's expectations. Shouldn't it be the audience who decides if a show is intellectual or enlightening? Why is someone from the Academia judging that? Also, I believe that there is no such thing as a wiser or more enlightening performance. Art doesn't discriminate, and it appeals to all. Everyone has the right to appreciate art.
Appreciation is but a primitive form of satisfaction. Guidance and enlightenment are necessary if we are to induce growth in the performers as well as the audience.
Okay, yeah, she's wrong. There is inherently better performances, better written scripts, better actors, and you can make a thought-provoking form of theater. The issue comes with who decides whether or not it's thought-provoking. Who decides whether or not it's up to quality. There's stuff where it's like a baseline of quality, so like if the actors are good and the script is good and all of the set pieces are good and all of that, but it's still just a poor story, a story that doesn't give anything of substance, then it's still bad, objectively. Like, take Miss Marvel for example. You could have given that movie the best actors. It had one of the best budgets, some of the best looks, and everything else you could ask for. But the story itself wasn't written well. While the dialogue all made sense, The characters did what should, well, I wouldn't say the dialogue all made sense, but that was more inherently based off of the story because they were trying to make her character into a specific thing. And so they formed the dialogue around it because she's got to do this, so she's got to say something that matches that level of this is what she would do in this situation, which made it come off all jagged and wrong. But it wasn't horrible in the places where people were just doing what people do. It was horrible in the sense of I'm going to interject something in this, and so somebody's got to say something that doesn't make sense and is out of character for them. Or I'm going to make a horribly written character for no apparent reason. Because they showed that they could write well, but because they chose to write a shit story, everything else was bad too. I'm going on a tangent unnecessarily. Essentially, you can have thought-provoking performances, but if you don't have a standard of quality, it won't matter. And you can have a standard of quality, but if you don't have thought-provoking performances, it won't matter because nobody cares. But different people, or let me put it like this, different types of people like different types of media. And so saying, because we at the academia, who are all pretty much just this one or two different types of people, don't like your performance, even though, you know, all of these other people who are the actual civilians who will watch your stuff like your performance, we thereby declare that it's bad. And her response to that is just, people like us, therefore we're not bad. Even though it ignores the main crux of his argument, which is it's not thought-inducing. Which, from the academia's point of view, is fine. Because they're in academia. And if this was purely like, this is a part of the academia and so it's bad, it would be one thing. Their main issue is the academia is the government. If the academia wasn't the government, her performance would be fine. I don't know, I'm talking too much. Let me just continue with the story.
This stance holds performers to a higher standard and encourages the development of the arts. If all performances are simple-minded, require little effort to comprehend, and lack any impetus for the betterment of society, then the people will not be able to develop a greater level of artistic understanding.
And the main problem with his argument is, if it's so complicated or fake deep that nobody can understand it, then nobody's going to get anything out of it anyway. It's not going to develop their thoughts if they can't understand it to begin with. The true masterworks of art are when it's good and simple, but it has meanings that take even a little bit of thought. And you can go down a rabbit hole of how much emphasis they put on this and that and why and how good it is. And if it's done right, it can lead you down the rabbit hole. But being too simple or being too intellectual will just make people shit on your stuff. If it was too simple, people wouldn't like it to begin with, essentially. And if it's too intellectual, people don't like it either.
Nurturing the populace's understanding requires a long and arduous process. And guiding this process is the academia's true goal.
Essentially,
Change the topic without batting an eye. Good thing I'm prepared.
he didn't change the topic. That's the same topic. But essentially, in his world, everything would be a nature documentary or a space documentary. Essentially just documentaries, but only on stuff they consider intellectual.
If I remember correctly,
Again, you didn't. You, he didn't change the subject though. That's the same subject.
the theater carries everyone's feelings. No, 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 no. Hinaya really wants to... No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
I'm just gonna submit all of them until one works. I have no clue what she's trying to say.
Someone at our theater has tried that before. He was a famed artist, but he recognized that very few people could connect with his works. I agree that art should be enlightening, but we can't pursue that goal by creating complicated works. If a work can't tap into an audience's personal experiences or feelings, then its contents may as well be a castle in the sky. What's the point of performing a show that its audience can't even follow? That would only be
She's
forcing
finally
people
making
to
a good
watch something
point.
they don't
Let's
like.
go.
You can only reach that conclusion from a place of ignorance.
In that case, before passing judgment, you should first become a better dancer than me.
Fair.
You tell them, Nilu. Looks like he's backed himself into a corner.
As the party holding the burden of proof, Sharif has failed to provide sufficient support for his judgment of the quality of Zubair Theater's programs. Likewise, the definition that Nilu put forth is but her personal opinion. Neither party is the victor for this particular point of contention. Additionally, I must request that both parties exercise greater control on their emotions.
Keep it up, Nilu! You're doing great!
In that case, I shall speak of more concrete matters. The essence of
He's
this issue is that you have
Bias
violated
says he
the
should
law.
be.
So
Not
you
that I
must
think
now
he
pay
would
the
be.
price for your transgression. This course of action is also completely procedurally sound. We have already contacted Zubair Theater multiple times regarding the theater's repertoire. However, you have consciously ignored our warnings, or perhaps your compliance was purely superficial. Regardless, that failure has indirectly led to the present day's proceedings.
That is indeed so, according to the laws decreed by the Academia.
He started talking about procedural stuff, so I need to focus on...
It's not true because every time they came to say something like that, they did not actually, legally do anything. So up until now, it wasn't actually a legal matter. And second, Zubair went to talk to them.
Mr. Zubair has already provided signed copies of all documentation related to our operations. Everything is perfectly filled out and valid. Although the theater's performances don't align with the Academia's requests, the law doesn't say that Zubair Theater can be demolished only because of that reason. Demolition notices need to be provided in writing and made available to the public. Otherwise, the theater can continue to operate as long as its license is valid. Failing to follow these rules makes your stance procedurally unsound.
Yeah! Yeah! That's right!
There are different ways to apply the rules. There is precedent for this. So long as this matter is discussed within the Academia, this course of action will come to pass.
Looking at the past 27 cases of similar nature, 90% of them support Sharif's claim and position.
That's called
However,
dictatorship.
the demolition process in those cases was only started after discussion at the Academia. In other words, premature notice of demolition is indeed a rash act.
Yep.
That's more than enough. We've proven that the order is unreasonable as it currently stands.
Cease your futile resistance.
Nilu's definitely won this point, right? You're right. Stay focused.
Even if permission
Hush,
for
Paimon.
demolition has yet to be obtained, it is a fact that your performances violated the Academia's policies on numerous occasions. Based on that fact, we can permanently revoke your right to perform in Sumeru.
Under the current system, it is indeed possible to immediately revoke Zubair Theater's performing rights.
That's a thing?
Rather than protecting Zubair Theater, I surmise that your true intention is to maintain your hold over your audience and their patronage as your source of income. Without them, Zubair Theater is nothing more than an empty building.
Okay,
And
but
without its performances, the theater has nothing else of value.
essentially what you're saying is the reason you don't want to perform the plays that I want you to perform is because you wouldn't have your audience, and without your audience, you have nothing. Which, I mean, is true. But it also means your plays are shit. And on the other hand, it is a company. If they could just play theater and not worry about money, they would. Audience or no audience, they'll be back and forth. It doesn't matter. But that's not how a business runs. So this is a fucking dumb argument to begin with.
What you said isn't true at all.
Keep it cool, Nilu!
Right. I need to keep just a little more.
Yeah.
The theater carries everyone's feelings. Zubair Theater isn't simply a performance venue to us. It means more than that. It's been our home for a long time. Miss Raykar can't go on adventures anymore, but she has found a stable career and a new life at the theater. Her son, Soren, has already passed his theater exam, and he'll soon be our newest member. Mr. Kasani found a new way to look at art. He decided to stay at the theater to watch us grow.
This really doesn't.
Mr. Farhad and Mr. Hushang visit even
This
when
is
there isn't a
just
show going on.
trying to
And they
rile up
always tell
emotions.
us lots of entertaining stories. Even
It
Inara
actually has
wants
nothing
to
to
stay
do
with us.
with
And she's
realistically
starting to
anything
look
to
forward
do
to a
with
new
debating
future.
or
Zubair Theater exists for them.
legality.
For every single one of us.
Neither did what he said.
Perhaps Zubair Theater
it's a
has
fair response
provided
to
you
it.
with a multitude of positive emotions and experiences. However, you have misconstrued something, young miss. The interpersonal relationships you speak of were established upon normal theater operations. Sheikh Zubair operates the theater for his livelihood. His employees work for their wages, and the audience comes to enjoy performances. Relationships are merely a byproduct in this exchange of interests. They may be pleasant
I
and
agree.
captivating, but they can only ever be secondary. When scholars collaborate to
I
solve
disagree and
difficult
I agree at
problems,
the same
we
time.
freely share our knowledge and resources with one another as if we were all kin.
And I disagree with that. So, when it comes to a business like that, you can both worry about the bottom line and worry about your staff equally. Because you don't want your staff to be pushed to an extent that they quit or leave or die. And you don't want your bottom line to go out the window and just lose the company. And so most of the time, at least with good companies, they worry about both. With bad companies, they worry about the bottom line and they don't take care of their employees, but they grow big enough that they don't have to worry about it or they shut down. Because you can't work without your employees. Now, on his side, let's take scientists, for example. They don't just share knowledge and resources, because that's essentially what they're akin to as scientists, except any and every field imaginable shoved into one section. They don't just share resources and knowledge with each other. In fact, a lot of times they fight over who gets resources. And when they write a paper, they argue with each other a lot and say, hey, you're a dumbass, that's not what that's saying, or your experiment is bad. Part of that is to share knowledge and further understandings of things. But that's more of a means to an end of expanding your own knowledge in a field so that what you want to do continues. And without money, you have nothing. So you're in the same boat she is. And you're not all kin. You just feel close. Essentially, he's not making an argument, neither is she. And it's frustrating
However,
to watch.
this collaboration ends after the results of our work are published. The reason is simple. We are scholars, and there are new projects that await our attention.
He really doesn't think much of relationships.
Sharif's argument is currently the more persuasive of the two for this point of contention. The continuance of the interpersonal relationships Nilu spoke of remains hypothetical before the theater's demolition, whereas the situation that Sharif described has been well documented at the Academia. The Academia has made significant academic contributions, in no small part due to its researchers' efficiency and ability to compartmentalize.
Okay, but you don't know if there's a better way. Because you can't know if there's a better way. Or even a different way. Because anytime anyone who is within Sumeru tries to do research type stuff outside of where the Academia gives them permission, they're arrested. You understand what I mean? Like, there cannot be researches outside of the Academia. Because the Academia will arrest them, take all of their research stuff, and take it as their own. And so, in this kind of enclosed system of bullshit, you don't actually know if the way you're doing things is the best. It's just a way that's worked and you've stuck with for a while.
Oh no, what should we do? Things are going in the opposite direction. A setup?
Good. He said what he said. The next arc, but is... She already agreed to this. Mr. Sharif believes that interpersonal relationships are a byproduct of working towards a goal. Once that goal is achieved or abandoned, those relationships would have no more reason to continue. Then, if someone has failed to live up to his expectations...
If someone has failed to live up to your expectations and ran away from home, then she shouldn't be
No.
your daughter anymore.
No.
Right?
There's... No. Listen. Do not disturb debates. If somebody is like, hey, somebody want to say something, that's one thing. If both sides agree you can talk, that's something. That's something. You can completely ruin a debate by just getting up and talking in the middle of these two people debating. And this is stupid. She can make the point. I get they're trying to go for that heartfelt thing, but this doesn't prove anything. And it's not a valid form of argument against their point, because they're talking about an organization, not personal family matters, and whether or not it helps perform a goal, not personal family matters.
Inaya...
Sorry, Nilu. If in your eyes, the purpose of my existence is by your logic, that means there is no more reason to sustain our relationship as father and daughter.
Members of the audience who do not belong to either debate party, please speak with caution.
Let her speak. What she does not say, Nilu will.
No matter how many disagreements we've had, the truth is that you are still my father. You're so immersed in your own world, you can't understand why we come together for the sake of relationships.
I can't understand either. You're kind of being cringe.
Don't look...
You can watch a dance. I'm almost starting to feel sorry for this guy.
Order! Order! Members of the audience, do not interrupt debate proceedings.
I confess that this is the final argument we had prepared. Disown me, and you will win the... But before that, I've been doing...
I'm skipping this. This is cringe.
I won't force my expectations upon you anymore. I will move, but if you...
This is not the time to space out, Sharif.
You already consider them to be your friend.
You should be asking us that question.
Of course we are!
Miss Unite!
It was a bit of a...
Make no mistake, all those who come to Zubair Theater become one of us!
Such puerile simplicity. However...
Yeah. Just get on with it.
It is surprising.
Wait, what are you... never mind.
They left? Does that mean we've won?
We won?
Nilu, you're amazing!
No, that was cringe and kind of just an attack tactic to make him feel bad.
Terrific work,
Had nothing to do with actual debate tactics.
Miss Nilu, should we throw us?
Like, you can come up with a big question to make somebody question their point of view. But being like, hey, you know those points you're trying to make? But your daughter hates you and she loves us, so we're right? Right? Is a stupid form of tactic. Oh, by the way, I got this guy. On the first pull. I mean, it was a lot of pulls thrown into Wanderer and I didn't get him, but I got this guy. And now we must save all of our primo gems.
Oh, it's you.
Yep.
Yes, I feel... I don't think I
I'm
could
really
repeat what I did a
dissatisfied with this
second time.
debate.
Yes, and it's all thanks to you. I see. Then I'll have to tell you about my teacher. Mr. Zubair opened his theater when I was still a child. There was a bee. I thought to myself. But later on, she would actually smile down. Yeah. She said, dance is an art. It is a beautiful thing. In other words, any place where people can effortlessly begin a dance will for sure be filled with the blessings of everyone. She wasn't looking for
Kind of
flowers
done
or
with this
applause.
story.
All she wanted was to see her right.
That debate really
I was
just was
completely
dissatisfying.
moved by what she had said before she retired. This is why Mr. Zubair, even though it ended up causing everyone a whole lot of... Although, yeah, before he left, he probably has a lot of things he wants to say. But, well, yeah. But you and Paimon are...
Are you still worried about Inaya? Let's be sure to come back often. Who knows? Maybe things will have worked
Hush,
out for her.
Paimon, let me wait. 1, 2. We're gonna go about here because I don't actually remember what time it says. Like, it's not been a bad story, but that... I knew they didn't really understand the debate, and then the debate actually happened, and they kind of understood it. Just to... Instead of making actual, like, sense, they relied on pure emotion to get their point across, and... I would have preferred if at the end he had been like, fine, I disown you then. And they had to actually make a valid point for why they're good. Because as of now, it's just... emotion. So we're good, right? Emotions. Emotion. And I don't like that. I'm not one who runs well off just pure emotions. I get them and their point. But when logic is supposed to be applied, apply logic. When both are supposed to be applied, apply both. Why a lot of things are gray.
I'd
But
like to introduce you to our newest member,
when you're
Hinaya.
Hello,
when you're
everyone.
arguing against somebody who runs off logic, and you're in a setting in which logic is supposed to be applied, apply logic. Because let me put it like this. Imagine if in a presidential debate, for example, instead of coming up with actual good debate topics, they went, "Yeah, but your daughter doesn't love you. Therefore, your logic is meaningless, and so I win." And then they went, "Oh, you're right. My daughter doesn't love me. I'll leave. You win. You can be president." It wouldn't fucking make sense. And I don't think it makes sense here either. Although it's a little more massaged into it, it still doesn't make sense.
She'll be dancing for us from now on. So please, give her your support.
Inaya's taken her place on the stage! Oh, Paimon wonders how she'll look when she starts dancing. When you stop and think about it, Happy Ending's Nilu's efforts, everyone's wisdom, Inaya's Huh? What do you mean by that? The whole demolition thing was going overboard. But he really could have banned if he really wanted to be rude. Oh well. It's not like we can
Okay,
understand how
but
people like him think.
okay, but
Let's focus on watching the performance.
if they had gone through actual governmental regulation, and by that I mean if they had actually talked to people other than him and been like, "Hey, there's no reason for this. We've already been telling you. We've been complying to all of this stuff. Essentially, now you're saying you don't like it, and so we have to close when there isn't even a fair and proper order." They would have looked into Sharif and probably kicked him down a peg if they're, all on the up and up, which I don't know if this story takes place before or after the main Sumeru storyline. If it's before, sure, y'all are gonna get fucked. But if it's after, most likely proper proceedings are gonna go into place. And he's gonna get fucked. Because he's doing things that are not actually legally sound. And he will get in trouble for that. Because essentially what he's doing is like, if you hadn't even been sued yet, and a lawyer on the other side said, "Yeah, well, it's been decided that you need to pay this much money because you did what's wrong." And the judge is going to say that anyway, so do it. And not, "We're going to take you to court because we think this is sound. And so pay this money or else we're going to sue you for more." Which is what they would actually say. Because what he should have actually said is, "You should probably close up shop because we're actually going to start putting in orders for you to be demolished, and you don't want to still be sitting around on your thumbs while we're doing that." Or what he should have actually done is start the process of having the place be in documentation as a place that's going to get demolished. Because until he does that, he's just committing crimes. Even if they're not like the kind of crimes we think of.
Huh? Wait. Look who the cat dress. Isn't that Inaya's father?
Cringe. Now he's gonna have a change of heart.
I don't have much to do.
Are you...
No, I am simply here to watch a performance. There is no need to trouble her. Well, I was for a time. My loss at the debate caused... I used this opportunity to suggest that my superiors temporarily suspend me from duty. Otherwise, the rumors would...
Suspended from...
Yes, I am temporarily unemployed. However, I now have an abundance of time, so I can afford to come here and watch a show.
Essentially what he's saying is, they weren't going to suspend me from duty, but I told them to. And I'm not even going to get fired. I'm just suspended for committing this crime. Or at least going against the rules and regulations of the government. Which is kind of fucked.
I admit that I do not understand the magic that this theater possesses, but my curiosity, I still cannot forget that young lady's perseverance. Inaya would almost certainly mature in the presence of such a person.
So have you not actually seen one of the performances after all that shit you were talking? I'm gonna chalk it up to he probably has, and they're just wording it weird. And even more so, even if he hasn't, somebody else has and has told them about it, and multiple people went to confirm and agree that it's not up to their intelligence.
There are no parents who do not worry about their children. Never mind. I do not have the right to say that.
You're already here, so you...
No, that is not necessary. Do not tell her that I was here.
Come on. Who knows if you'll get a chance like this again?
But...
Huh? You said you were going to make peace with your past. Show your father how much you've grown. Don't be nervous. Everyone at Zubair Theater has your back. Hey, let's go somewhere else. We should give them some space.
You sure they'll be okay?
I don't know, but I think we should have faith in them.
I don't know what that weird animation they did directly
Yes, Inaya.
looking straight at her face
have
right
something
there,
for
but I
you.
hate it.
I'm still learning. It's hardly a masterpiece, but it's yours if you'll take it.
Huh?
You
Okay.
don't have to take it. It's fine. Never mind.
It's only been 2 days. He has not had a change of heart about art. Made something to give her.
Let's have a heart-to-heart. Father.
Like father,
I
like
don't
daughter.
get it.
They're
I
both
don't like
so
it.
awkward with their feelings.
Yeah, she probably...
Do you think they'll be able to...
I'm not sure. All those years of argument, but no matter where they're... All I wish for them is to be able to... Oh, by the way, everyone's really thankful to... So we...
Whoa! This is amazing!
We've also... Mr. Zubair and Mr. Kasani took charge of the design, while Inaya and I made all the little pieces with the help of others. Miss Raykar and Miss
So it
Nacha
wasn't
made
just
and
you two.
assembled the centerpiece.
It was everybody.
As adventurers,
So why'd you
two
say
lucked
you
out
and
as they
her,
traveled to many
and
more
then
lands
tack
and
on
seen many
everybody
more
else?
things. That's why we hope that your time at Zubair Theater will become a fond memory of your journey.
We'll come back and watch you dance whenever we get the chance.
Listen, Zubair Theater is a fond memory for me, but not because of this quest. But because of the Archon quest, where we were essentially stuck in the Matrix. This is just... ugh. It had its ups, but it had way too many downs and annoyances for me.
You're welcome.
And it was
Come on,
essentially
take it.
just Talk Simulator 2023. Alright. That's gonna be it for this one. Thanks for watching.